But you don't just listen. It is called active listening. So you see the way you're listening to me, you're like, yeah, I know you're listening.
Yeah.
So the nodding of the head, the rephrasing of the sentences, the asking of follow-up questions, of course, that is something that shows you are actively listening. Because branding is not a logo. Branding is not a product. Branding is how the customer relates with the service, the product, or the company. And most of the times, people say when you meet someone for the first time, you're not meeting them. You're meeting their representative. Because the way you're behaving with me here, 100% you don't behave like that at home. Your brand is not well set up. You cannot do proper marketing. And I've always given them this example. Blind marketing is like a boy winking at a girl in darkness. She can't see. So number one, if you want to start building your personal brand, don't be too fake. Don't say you are a CEO of a farm and the farm you're only having 3 chickens. It's not true. So we can record with the resources that we have. Yes, you don't need a camera. Your phone is good enough. Create content with that. So we're also teaching them on how to utilize the resources that are around them without saying, for me to be called a content creator, I need a Canon camera. I need Rode mics. No, you can begin with the resources that you have. Look at people like Crazy Ken or Flaco. Do you think they have these big cameras? They use phones.
True.
But have they been verified by TikTok? Do they get money?
Yeah, they do. Hello and welcome to Resilient Voices, a podcast where we uplift the stories, struggles, and strength of care leavers. I am your host, Veronica. Today we are diving deep into communication and personal branding. And to navigate this interesting topic, I am joined here with Joy. She is going to introduce herself and tell us more about her. Joy, karibu sana.
Asante.
Feel comfortable.
I hope I am comfortable.
The floor is yours.
Thank you for inviting me. My name's Joy Keseno, and I am the programs manager for Loyola Center for Media and Communications. We basically work under the Jesuits of Eastern Africa. They're commonly known as the Society of Jesus. And we run a number of programs, but we also work with the SOS Children Villages, and there's a project we are running with them that's called the Leave No Youth Behind. And under the Leave No Youth Behind, of course, we work with the young care leavers under the project known as Communications Think-Positive Alternatives Exist, which I think I'll be talking about it a bit later. Yes.
So thank you so much for introducing yourself. I know I'm one of the many who will actually, how will I say it, who will benefit from this conversation.
Okay.
So let's kick off. So our first question, what does effective communication really mean to you?
Okay. I think people overcomplicate the word communication. And for me, it's very straightforward. Did the other person understand the message the way I intended them to understand? That is effective communication. And if I give a small example, for example, if you jump on top of a boda, you tell the boda guy, take me to Kenyatta Hospital, and they take you to Kenyatta Market. Have you communicated? Yes, but was the communication effective? No. So for me, clarity is what matters when it comes to effective communication. Can use another example. If you tell, I interact a lot with young care leavers, and there are projects they do, and sometimes people need validation. So if you tell someone, I believe in you, but your eyes, your tone, your gestures don't match what you're saying, you have not communicated effectively. But if you tell them, the project that you've done, it really communicates. It has really captured the objectives of what this project is about, and you're really doing well. I'm really proud of the work you're doing. Is there a difference between those two?
Yeah.
So for me, clarity of the message you are intending for the other person to understand is very important. And as my mother used to tell us tukiwa wadogo, osha vyombo na usioshe vile wewe unafikiria, osha vile nimeona ukiosha kwa kichwa yangu. So in her head, there's a way she's seen you washing those utensils. It means washing and putting them away. But you wash and leave. So did she communicate effectively? No, because it's in her head. You need to communicate and communicate clearly for the other person to understand what you are communicating to them.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, what are some of communication habits or tricks that can help young people, especially caregivers, stand out positively?
So when it comes to some of the habits, presence matters. And if you're in the room, be in the room. If there's a workshop, that is ongoing, if there's a meeting that is ongoing, be in the room. Most of the times when you go for these trainings, and I normally have this one rule: if my session is beginning, put your phone away. If your phone rings when you're in the middle of a session, all of us will dance or we all talk to the person who has called you. So if you're in the room, be in the room. Be present. Number 2, storytelling. So if sometimes when you connect with people on a personal level, they tend to remember you quickly. So if you tell a story, for example, if you just say, I'm responsible, that does not communicate much. But if you say, as a young caregiver, there's a way I've been budgeting my money, and at the end of the month, I save some bit of money and I've been able to do 1, 2, 3. And there's a very perfect example I have. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names. There's a young girl that we train in Mombasa. Maybe you can bleep the name out. She's called Fatma. And normally when we call some of these program participants, we normally give them some small token, some small transport. And she used to save that money. And after 1 year, she was able to facilitate for her passport, because her dream was always to work at the cruise ship. And for you to work at the cruise ship, you need a passport. So she actually saved some money and bought that passport. She's now interning at one of the cruise ship. So she told me that story, and that's why I can remember till now. Storytelling. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Then the last bit, of course, there are many, but follow up. So, for example, you've gone to a mentorship session and you train people. There are those who normally come and say, I've really benefited from your training. I've learned how to do camera setup. These are actually some of the things we teach the young caregivers to do. Production. And they say, I thought I was a videographer until you came and I didn't know that there are some things I didn't know. So if such a person approaches you, they're doing follow-up, or you're just at home and they text you, by the way, that project imefanya, my eyes have opened, I've started doing cinematography instead of videography. So a simple thank you will make you remember that person. And guess what? Nowadays, for you to get jobs, you need to know someone. So if an opportunity arises, guess who I remember? The person who appreciated. So if you are present in the room, use storytelling and do follow-ups. I think those are some of the tricks that people can learn from.
So, how can someone improve on their listening skills?
Yes, there's communication is both ways. So there's the talking bit and then there's the listening bit. But you don't just listen. It is called active listening. So you see the way you're listening to me, you're like, yeah, I know you're listening.
Yeah.
So the nodding of the head, the rephrasing of the sentences, the asking of follow-up questions, of course, that is something that shows you are actively listening rather than sour. That's not active listening. Sometimes when you ask someone, what is your name? And they say, my name is, it means they've heard what you've said.
Yeah.
So communication goes both ways, talking and also active listening.
So let's talk about personal branding. What exactly are we talking about, and how can young adults start building a positive personal brand?
This is where people get it a bit wrong. Let's first of all talk about what branding is not. So branding is, let me just throw that question back. What do you think branding is?
How will I say it? How will I put it? But something like how people will know me out there.
Mhm.
That is the only thing I can say.
Yes.
Like, how will people know me when I'm out there? Yeah.
Yes, and people confuse branding, marketing, visibility, all those things. So if you're talking about branding is not a logo. No.
Okay.
Branding,
I thought it was a logo.
No. A logo is a very important tool for branding. A logo is a symbol of the brand.
Okay.
When you're selling something to someone, are you selling the brand or you're selling the product?
The product.
But you're not also selling the product, you're selling the value of the product. So branding is not a logo. A logo is a symbol for the brand. And if you look at branding in simple words is a result. Let me use an example. Use Vaseline.
Yeah.
So what do you use Vaseline for?
On my face, the lips. Yeah.
So Vaseline for you moisturizes your skin and makes your lips a bit softer.
Yeah.
But for me, because I have toddlers, Vaseline for me allows them not to have diaper rash. Okay? So I don't use them on their lips. No, it's for diaper rash. But it's still Vaseline.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you're building a brand, you're not building one thing. You're building 1,000 brands because it's like giving customers the raw materials and giving them the opportunity to choose what works best for them. And the reason I purchase Vaseline is not the same reason you'll purchase Vaseline for. So it's 1,000 brands. How do people relate with the results of your product? So branding is a result. And that's why you hear people say, they confuse wanasema, let's buy this brand, let's buy this brand. Has anyone ever approached you in a supermarket akwambie, this brand is better than this one? No. Because branding is not a logo. Branding is not a product. Branding is how the customer relates with the service, the product, or the company of that particular brand. And I've given you that example. When it comes to now personal branding, branding as what you've just mentioned is how do people talk about me when I'm not there? So for example, if I say, I was just here when you were being contacted, there was a host who was supposed to be here, but apparently he's held up. But you were called and you came within minutes. So you are reliable. That's your brand. She is reliable. That's your brand. Kitu isiekwe hapa, Joy atachukua. Why? I'm a kleptomaniac. So that's how people know me. That's my brand. You're a kleptomaniac. Okay? So branding is how do people talk about you when you're not there? Your characteristics, the result of the brand. That is branding. But now when it comes to personal branding, how do people relate to you? And most of the times people say when you meet someone for the first time, you're not meeting them. You're meeting their representative. Because the way you're behaving with me here, 100% you don't behave like that at home.
True.
100% you don't behave like that around your friends. So you have different two brands of yourself. So that's how personal branding is. And there's a difference between branding, visibility, and marketing. And I've always told Akina Joel and the KESCA when we were training them, branding is a part of marketing. Because branding is how do you package your message? How do you communicate it? When do you communicate it? Okay? And marketing, I told them if your brand is not well set up, you cannot do proper marketing. And I've always given them this example. Blind marketing is like a boy winking at a girl in darkness. She can't see. Kijana anafinyia msichana macho kwa giza. She can't see. So that's blind marketing. It's all a part of branding. So when it comes to personal branding for the young caregivers, and people think branding is for the celebrities, CEOs, big companies. No. It's how do people see me? And number one, if you want to build, you can start slowly. And number one, the thing that you can focus most and about it, don't be too fake. Okay. There's this celebrity I saw, I think 2 weeks ago. She had taken a picture. Akikuja stairs a jet. She was coming down from a jet. She was saying just landed from the Bahamas. Okay. And you can see that picture. Na unaona vizuri where the propellers are, the engine. It's covered with a cloth. And that normally happens when a jet is not going anywhere for a while to shield it from dust. So ilikuwa imefunikwa na some piece of cloth. So how did you land when that engine has been closed with a cloth? Which gives us one thing. These people pay to portray a certain lifestyle out there. So napata she paid for that photo shoot. Then she lies to us, nimetoka bara, nimetoka wapi. You are nowhere. So faking it. And there are people who are faking till they make it. But sasa sisi, we are trying to keep up to the normal trends of nowadays, and people are faking it. So number one, if you want to start building your personal brand, don't be too fake. Don't say you are a CEO of a farm and the farm you're only having 3 chickens. It's not true. You're faking it. Then number 2, consistency. How often do you post? And you cannot say you are a human rights activist and the things that you're always posting on your WhatsApp and Instagram are stupid memes and you twerking in a video and you are championing for children's rights and human rights. Post something that 10 years to come, if your child sees it, she's proud of you. And they say the internet never forgets. And I like watching a lot of series. I don't know if you're a fan of Flash. There's this guy who just gotten a role in that specific, and he was very good. But then he was removed. And people started asking, why was he removed? Kumbe someone dug in his past, and there's a tweet he had tweeted like 10 years ago, and it was 15, 16, that he hates black people. And someone found that tweet. And they started sharing it on social media, TikTok. And nowadays things in a trend very quickly. Yeah. So because the company that films Flash is called CW, they didn't know what to associate with that kind of backlash. So they just removed him from the series. And that's how he lost his job, because of something he did 15 years ago. So whatever you're posting, is it going hand in hand with your personal values? Is it something that you can be proud of when you look at it 10 years later? Is it something that your grandchildren look at it and say, hey, grandma was a boss. Grandma was very, very smart, very intelligent. Post something that you can watch with your mother or your auntie in the same room and you'll not feel ashamed. So consistency also matters more. Yeah.
Okay, so what mistakes should people avoid when it comes to managing their personal image or reputation?
It is those that I've mentioned. Don't be too fake. Post your reality. Just be you. There are people who connect with the person that you are. And as we've said, your personal brand. You are your own personal brand. And they say, if you're a good person, people talk blessings over you when you're not even there. People mention your names in big spaces that you will never know. So be as realistic as you can. Be consistent. If you're saying, I'm going to be posting scriptures every day, I'm going to be championing for the rights of young caregivers every day, I'm going to create content that's going to promote the rights of the young caregivers every day. Consistency matters. Sio leo una post meme, kesho, yes, leave no youth behind. The following day, Kasongo aishie. What's your
like
niche?
You're targeting me.
Huh? Sorry, am I targeting you? No, it's consistency. You can have, you can have 2 numbers.
Yeah.
The one can be just for official stuff that everyone else has. But then you can have a number where sometimes WhatsApp has come up with a very good setting. You can choose who to include to see your status or not.
True.
So there are times I also want to be dumb. I want people to see I was in the water. So I just choose who I want to see. The rest people don't. It's my business. But there's one day you'll forget to change those settings. Utaenda huko kutingisha mguu if you're a Luya, and then huyu ndio alikuwa host wetu. So consistency, don't fake too much. Just be yourself. Personal brand. Be yourself.
So how can someone identify their unique strengths or values and use them to shape their brand?
When it comes to using repeat that question again.
How can someone identify their unique strengths or values and use them to shape their brand?
Of course, exploration. There are people who have discovered their talent after they've been enrolled in our project. You find there's a person who came and said, Joy, I know the project tackles talent, but I don't have a talent. I don't know, but I'm interested in the project. And the more you train actors, the more you train videographers, the more you train scriptwriters, the more you train graphic designers, you find this person has that self-drive and they are willing to learn. So napata if you're an actress and a group yenyu, they're trying to do what you're that's not my area, and kwa graphic design, that's not my area. And then they find their talent in hosting or in narration. So exploration also. And when it comes to values, it mainly depends on how you were raised. Were you raised in a Christian background or in a religious background? Let me not say Christian, religious background. What were you taught? Because values and virtues cut across any religion, whether it's Hindu, whether it's Christianity, Muslim. Good is good, bad is bad.
Yeah.
So once you've discovered your talent, how can you channel your values to create content that's going to resonate with the people that you're targeting and who are the young caregivers? So for me, it's that self-drive and the willing to explore and not be a reserved person who just watch things at the periphery, like leo anafanya nini, wachanja hiyo inabo, inabo. Then you find yourself in a corner somewhere on your phone watching TikTok and watching other people's content.
That is so me. But
I'm sorry. No one gave me your script.
I've changed.
You've changed.
I'm trying to change.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So can personal branding help someone get opportunities?
Of course. Some of these guys that we work with, I like mentioning them because we've seen real results from this project. There are people who came who didn't know camera work. We trained them. And currently, as we speak, they're in Nairobi. They've been contacted to come and film a gig. There are a few dancers we've trained. One of them just got a gig with Nameless and Wahoo to dance. So, and if you look at the status of these guys, and I can mention one because I know these are very hardworking guys called Clinton William. Sometimes even twice a day, he will choreograph something and post it. And he posts it in all the groups that I'm in. He posts it on WhatsApp status, Instagram, every day. And it's new choreography every day. So unapata, when a gig inatokea, that's the first person you're thinking about. Because this guy is consistent, this guy is hardworking, these guys angoji mulike ama dislike. Yeah, I'm a post Kenya. What makes him happy. And there's nothing you enjoy most than doing what you love.
Yeah.
Like for me, if you put me behind cameras, I love doing that. So I'll never see it as work. I just see it as a hobby. So of course, things like that are what is going to propel your personal brand.
So talking about communication and personal branding, how do they work hand in hand?
Communication and?
Personal branding.
We've talked about communicating effectively. Okay? And we've talked about personal brand.
Yeah.
And everyone has a brand. And it depends whether you want to leave it there or you want to improve it. And you've used yourself as an example. Alikuwa mimi. But you decided that's no longer me. You want to change. So communicate effectively. What are you trying to do? It doesn't matter if you're trying to do a speech, if you're trying to do a dance or whatever. There's one thing that people should know about also personal branding. Let me ask you a question. What's 1 + 1?
2.
What's 4 + 3?
7.
Why did you just say it? Because you know it. You did not hesitate.
Yeah.
But if I ask, what is 0.1 times 74.3? It's not that you don't know. You can calculate here and get it.
Yeah.
But at this particular moment, you don't know. And you got nervous. Why? Because it's not here. So it's the same thing that happens with personal branding. For example, if preparedness beats nerves. So kipata, you've prepared for something like an interview or a pitching to donors. The more you prepare, the more confident you are because you don't hesitate. 1 + 1 is 2. I know that. I can challenge you. 1 + 1 is 2. But if you call me for an interview and I'm not prepared, I'll have all sorts of excuses. I don't, why? I did not prepare. So it's not in my fingertips. So preparedness beats nerves every time. Number 2, your body language. There's this confidence that people have. And me, normally what I use, it's not like when even presidents don't fear when they stand to give a speech. Everyone gets nervous. But it's that confidence level that people have. Like for me, if I'm going to give a speech, I usually have this trick that I do. I tell a joke. I start with a joke. And when people laugh, I'm relaxed. But if people don't laugh, that is going to be the quickest speech I'll ever. Nataka tu niseme nitoke hapo because now I'm already nervous. But the moment people laugh, I get relaxed. I've connected with them at some point, and so points just come flowing. So body language and confidence. It's like Wi-Fi. Some confidence sometimes gets weak, but if you move around with your phone, so unapatanga strike. Yeah, so you can move around, and there are places you go. If you're giving a speech, you look at the audience, unapata mtu ako hivi. That's your signal that you're doing something, unapata nguvu. You go somewhere, unapatana na Joy mwenye ako na subtitles kwa face, anakuangalia. You move away from there. So, number 1, preparedness beats nerves. Number 2, body language. And then, what I've noticed that always works when it comes to communication and personal branding, pause. You don't have to respond immediately. Like, what's your name? Joy. What do you do? Sometimes when you pause, you look wise, even if you've forgotten a question. People, nafikiria before apeane the next answer or the next question. And if you watch a lot of Cat Williams interviews, he does a lot of that. You'll ask him a question, he'll just pause and look around, and then he'll give you some intelligent question back. You're like, I did not understand that. So preparing, body language, and the pause. It makes you look intelligent. It gives you time to reflect. And in the end, even the host themselves unapata wako relaxed. Yeah.
So let's talk about these people who struggle with expressing themselves confidently. What practice hacks will you give them? And I know I'm also one of them.
It's those ones that I've mentioned. Preparing in advance. If I tell you right now, come here interview about data science. Will you manage?
I have to prepare.
You see, preparing. And then after you've prepared, how do you deliver that content? It's all about confidence. The moment you know something, you're confident. I've just told you 1 + 1 is 2. I know it. Toa calculator hapa tupige 1 + 1 is 2. You're that confident. So once you know something, kuna ile confidence inakujanga. Like, ulifanya hiyo kazi? Nilifanya. Utaonyesha evidence? Evidence niko nayo nakutumia saa hii. Fungua Wi-Fi nikutumie. But if you haven't done the work, my computer has crashed. When I reach home, I will send it to you. Hiyo unapatia mtu time. Excuses. So preparing, confidence, body language, hiyo pause. Have you ever seen this kind of interviewees or hizi za majuu, mtu anauliza swali before answer anakunywa maji kwanza. They are thinking, they don't know the answer, but hiyo kukunywa maji, by the time unaweka ikombe chini, I already have an answer. So there are two tiny tricks that you can do. There are so many, but for me, those three work for me. Preparing in advance, confidence, and then your pause, researching what you're going to talk about gives you confidence on another level. Yeah.
So let's talk about this program of alternative think positive. Kindly just tell us more about it, because some of us may be hearing it for the first time.
Okay. So as I mentioned, we are working with SOS Children's Villages, and we've been partnering with them since 2023. And the communications think positive alternatives exist. It's tackling one of the outcomes, one of the 3 outcomes for SOS, and that is to make the young caregivers be self-reliant and self-resilient. And we are tapping into their talent. So this is basically to tell young people, not only young caregivers, young people, that you have to go through here. But this is a wall. So do you stop there because there's a wall, or you'd get something and knock this wall and pass? So if you knock it, you found an alternative. And many young people graduate from universities and they expect a white-collar job, corner office, suity, briefcase, Stanley Cup there, my computer. That's what people picture when they're in university. I'll get a good job, I'll get an office, I'll get a salary. But what happens when it doesn't come? What is your plan B? Okay, so we are always saying alternatives exist to what you had planned. So if plan A doesn't work, what is plan B? And this project, we've been doing it in Uasin Gishu County and Mombasa County. And we've been targeting young caregivers with a specific criteria, those who are interested in performing arts and communication in its entirety. And I'm happy because out of the 70 that we began with, actually 72, almost half of them have acquired jobs. And we have evidence to show that. We have people who have gotten jobs as graphics designers. We have people who have gotten jobs as videographers. We have people who get contracts to dance with musicians, the one I've mentioned. There are people who go to compete in battles that are led by Smirnoff, Red Bull. There's one also, there's a group that is in Nairobi right now. They are in that competition. There are people who are creating content about mental wellness, and there are people who have been hired to write scripts. And all of these are just program participants from the project. So for us, we see it's a big success if these guys get jobs, become self-reliant and self-sufficient, and becomes contributing members of the society. Ultimately, that's all. It's like a parent. Nasomesha mtoto, unataka apate kazi, aendelee na maisha yake. That's what drives us and what makes us happy. What is the end result of the project? Is for these young people to be self-reliant and self-sustainable. And it's not only about them getting jobs. You find there are those who had jobs, but they face certain challenges in those jobs. And there are principles that we normally talk about in the CTPAE, which is Communications Think Positive Alternatives exist, that you can be faced with a certain challenge, but there's a way you can approach it differently and it works for you. And we had a number of them say, by the way, I used to approach something this way. And most of them, it's around group dynamics. You know, when you work as a group, and the problem with a group is if your work relies on the other person. For example, you're a very good host, he's a good camera person, but without the host, who will he be interviewing? Viti. Nona. So in a group, kuna hiyo chain of dependency. I have to get someone to interview for me to be called a host. He has to get cameras or subjects in order to be called a videographer or something. So unapata mtu alikuwa na hiyo shida, but after we've taken them through group dynamics, the principles of think positive alternatives exist. Like one of them I really loved, I gave them a challenge of, they're very good singers, and I told them, I need you guys to give me a song by the time I'm leaving for Nairobi. And they're like, unajua tuja book studio, tujaandika lyrics. And I'm like, yeah, we have a whole day and we are not going to a studio, but by the time I leave here, I need a song. I was like, it's not possible. And I'm like, it is possible. They wrote lyrics, they found beats online, they recorded on the phone, and they played it, and it worked. And you're like, so we can record with the resources that we have. Yes, you don't need a camera. Your phone is good enough. Create content with that. So we're also teaching them on how to utilize the resources that are around them without saying, for me to be called a content creator, I need a Canon camera. I need Rode mics. No, you can begin with the resources that you have. Look at people like Crazy Ken or Flaco. Do you think they have these big cameras? They use phones.
True.
But have they been verified by TikTok? Do they get money?
Yeah, they do.
Using the resources that you have to make these people self-reliant and self-sufficient so that they don't come back to SOS and say, nipe. No. We need people, we also need to transition people to hata in a normal family setup. The moment you get a job, like my dad aliambia my brother went and told my dad, hey, imefika time, sasa nataka kuhama. He was 25 and my dad told him, hata umechelewa. But he had not kicked him out of the house. But even in a normal family setup, there's a time in which you have to fly by yourself. So we want a period where we are just seeing young caregivers in high-level places and working for the government, for the hospitals, for schools. They are self-reliant and self-sufficient. So in a nutshell, that's what Communications Think Positive Alternatives Exist project works with the young people. So if you're an actress, we do train for film, we train for TV. If you're a singer, we do train you how to write your lyrics well. Okay, I can't teach you how to sing because I can't sing, but they say whoever cannot sing teaches. So I teach, but I don't sing. Yeah.
I've realized I've been saying it wrongly. It's not alternative, think positive. It's think positive.
Think positive. Alternatives exist.
Okay. So as we wind up, what advice will you give to someone who has stage fright?
Stage fright?
Yeah.
If I say this, you will cut it out. But I'll just say it, but you'll cut it out. For me, the first time I stood in front of people, I used to picture people with clown costumes. Like they're clowns. So I know more than them. They are clowns. They're just funny. You've seen a clown.
Yeah.
So I'll just picture them, all of them, at a vulnerable state. So I make myself feel better. So for stage fright, unfortunately for things like stage fright, there's no shortcut. You just have to face it head on. Attend places where you will be required to stand on stage. You want to be an engineer? Go study engineering. You want to be a doctor? Go study clinical medicine. If you want to overcome stage fright, be on a stage. You cannot overcome stage fright kwa kiti ati sasa nafunzwa ku overcome stage fright. So step 1, you breathe well. Step 2, you whistle. No. Even me, the position I'm in, I did not begin as a person who knew everything. There's someone, our director is called Dr. Elias Mokua. He used to take me to some of these meetings, and then randomly he'll just say, go and tell them about LCMC. I have not prepared. I am not even dressed to stand up. Nervousness inaanza. But you stand there. There's a time I said, and sister here knows, I said we work with Somalia. We don't work with Somalia. I was so tensed that I mentioned the wrong country. But the next time, I got it correct, because the more times you stand on stage and address people, the less you'll start getting afraid and having stage fright. The best way to avoid stage fright is be on stage, but prepare well, be confident, pause. Not everything is a rush. Have you ever seen actors who wanafika kwa stage and then they look, wanaangalia huku, unadhani it's a character, wamesahau lines. They're just remembering them, but they look as if they're in a character.
Yeah.
Stage fright, you just go to stage. Huwezi enda tu hapa nje ati you get over stage fright. No, get it head on. Whatever there's an open mic, you be there. Hata kama ni kwa bar, wanapeana hiyo open opportunity of someone to go there. Me, there's something I feared. I feared doing karaoke. I went to Mombasa the other time. I was like, screw this. I'm going to sing with my bad voice and I'm going to sing. And I sang with my bad voice to Sauti Sol's BN. I hope he never sees it. But I overcome it. And the people are laughing, and I saw people laughing. I was like, I'm really making them laugh with my bad voice. So it made me feel good. So the next time I saw karaoke, I just went and sang. So it is approaching it head on.
Thank you so much for your time. Kindly face the camera and tell our care leavers something hopeful out there.
Think positive alternatives always exist. Don't be stuck in one place. Think positively.
Thank you for watching Resilient Voices. Share this video with someone. You never know who it may help. And until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay resilient. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Peace of Christ.